Hello everyone, welcome to Lukmaan IAS. Today we are going to have the Hindu newspaper analysis dated 15th of March 2024. In today's newspaper analysis, we are going to look into all those articles that are important for the UPSC Prelims and Mains exam. So there are some articles that are short in nature and there are some articles that are descriptive. That's going to help you to shape your opinion related to ongoing issues for the Mains exam. So let us quickly see the list of articles that we are going to cover in today's newspaper analysis. And before that, I would like to share information about our upcoming program, which is, let's say, PT24 marathon classes. So for the UPSC Prelims exam 2024, Lukmaan IAS has announced marathon classes. And marathon classes are going to be held from the month of April. From 1st April onward till 10th of April, we are going to have marathon classes. Every day, there will be classes of around 8 to 9 hours, okay, of different subjects. And these subjects will be taught by different faculties from Lukmaan IAS. Ansari sir will also be taking discussion apart from other faculties, okay. So each subject will be covered in one day, okay, one day, one subject. So in this way, we are going to cover, let's say, all the subjects of the prelims exam, especially the GS paper of the prelims exam. So if you are, let's say, preparing for UPSC Prelims 2024 or you are appearing in Prelims 2024, so this is something that you can consider for your preparation. So these are the articles that we are going to cover today in our newspaper analysis. So in all, we are going to discuss about 6 articles now. So this is the first topic that we are going to discuss. This topic is related to, let's say, simultaneous elections. Simultaneous elections means there was a slogan that was given by the government earlier. It is one nation, one election. What do we mean by one nation, one election? Basically, the government of India, the present government wants to hold the elections in one nation, one election format. What does it mean? It means that the election like Lok Sabha elections, or that are known as general elections, and also state assembly elections will be conducted simultaneously at the same time, okay. So like if we talk about what is the present scenario, how the elections are being conducted presently, so at this point of time the elections are not conducted in a simultaneous manner. It means round the year the Election Commission of India and state election commissions are conducting elections, right, for one or other thing. Generally, the Election Commission of India conducts election once every 5 years. Once every 5 years, this is known as general election, and this year we are going to have a general election, okay. But if we talk about state level elections, so in India there are various states, and in all these states we have state election commission, and state election commission conducts the election for the state legislative assemblies, and apart from this they also conduct elections for local bodies and panchayats, local bodies like panchayats and municipalities. However, when we talk about one nation, one election, right, related to this, the present government had set up a panel. This is known as high level committee. They have set up a high level committee that had 12 members. And this committee was headed by former President of India. What is the name of former President of India? Mr. Ramnath Kovind. So Mr. Ramnath Kovind was a former President of India, and he has headed this particular high level committee that looked into the issue of conducting simultaneous elections in India. Simultaneous election means one nation, one election format. And now this particular committee has come out with report. And in this report, basically they have recommended that we can actually conduct one nation, one election. We can conduct simultaneous elections in the country, okay. And when we talk about conducting simultaneous elections, does it require any constitutional amendment? Yes, it does require multiple constitutional amendments. And in this article, they have in fact mentioned some of the articles where some of the articles of the constitution that needs to be amended. So what is the length of the recommendation? What is the length of the, let's say, document that this committee has come up with? So in this article, they have said that this document is more than 18,000 pages document. More than 18,000 pages document, like, you know, this panel, Ramnath Kovind panel, has come out with. However, they have also made a document public, right? This document is available for the public at large, and this has 321 pages. How many? 321 pages, and they have suggested that India can conduct simultaneous elections, and this committee has recommended that simultaneous election can be conducted in 2 phases. In how many phases? It can be conducted in 2 phases. Number 1, it can be conducted in phase 1. So they have discussed about phase 1 and they have also discussed about phase 2. So we are going to discuss what this committee has said related to phase 1. So this committee has said that in phase 1, the general elections, right, general elections and state legislative assembly elections can be conducted together. And in phase 2, the elections to the local bodies like panchayats and municipalities, okay, like municipalities and panchayats, the election can be conducted together, okay. So this is the thing, and this panel has recommended that there can be a gap of around 100 days. How many? There can be a gap of around 100 days from the Lok Sabha election or general election, right, before the phase 2 election. So this committee has come out with this report. So now we need to understand that which articles do we need to, okay, which articles do we need to actually, which articles do we need to amend. So basically in this article they have mentioned about those articles of the constitution that needs to be amended. So what they have said that from the constitution we need to amend article 83 that talks about duration of the houses of the parliament. We need to amend article 172 of the constitution that talks about duration of the state legislatures of the constitution, okay. So I am quickly going to write down those articles of the constitution, right, that are recommended to be amended by this committee, okay. So number 1, the first article that it says is article number 83, okay, article 83. So article 83 of the Constitution of India talks about duration of the houses in the parliament, okay, and then article number 173 or article number 172 of the Constitution that talks about duration of state legislative assemblies, okay, state legislative assemblies. Apart from this, it has also recommended that we can amend article 324A of the Constitution, article 324A of the Constitution. And if we talk about article 324A of the Constitution, this article actually allows simultaneous elections in suitable amendments in this particular article to allow simultaneous elections in panchayat and municipalities. They have also said article 325 can be amended, okay, article 325 can be amended, right, so that the election commission, right, to allow election commission in consultation with the state election authorities to prepare a common electoral roll and voter ID cards, okay. So in this article they have mentioned these articles, that these articles needs to be amended. However, there are many such articles that this committee has recommended, right, that these articles need to be amended from the Constitution of India. So we are discussing the matter of simultaneous polls, okay, we are discussing the matter of simultaneous polls or simultaneous elections in the country. And what is the rationale? I mean, why does the government wants to conduct simultaneous elections? So basically government wants to conduct simultaneous election for multiple purposes. One of the purposes to reduce the overall expenditure that is incurred by the government of India in conducting elections across the country, right, in Lok Sabha election, state legislative assembly elections and all. So if elections are conducted in one go simultaneously, it is going to bring down the expenditure, overall cost, right. Apart from this, after election happens, what will happen? For the next 5 years, the remaining period of 5 years, right, each government will be able to focus on governance. I mean, they don't have to go for election mode once again, because when they go for election mode, their attention gets shifted to, let's say, winning the election in state legislative assemblies. So this panel says they will be able to focus more on governance. So these are the two primary motives for conducting simultaneous elections. However, this has also met with lot of criticism as well. So many people have criticized that, like, conducting simultaneous elections would be a enormous task for the Election Commission of India, and presently neither the Election Commission of India has that many number of, let's say, EVMs or electronic voting machines, nor it has human resources or capacity to conduct, let's say, simultaneous elections across the country. So like there are many difficulties in conducting this. However, this panel has recommended conducting one nation, one election or simultaneous elections. Will the simultaneous election be conducted, let's say, like, from this year 2024? No, it will not be conducted. Why? Because this requires a lot of amendments in the Constitution of India, and which is not feasible at this short duration of time. So maybe even if it is adopted or accepted by the government, maybe, let's say, like, they may explore the possibility of conducting simultaneous election from 2029. I mean, like, from the next general election season. Okay, so this is the thing. So with this, now let us quickly move to the next article. Okay, let us move to the next article. So this article is again very important, very good article. It talks about CAA and the status of judicial proceedings. Okay, what do we mean by CAA? CAA stands for Citizenship Amendment Act 2019. Okay, so like the Ministry of Home Affairs has notified the rules to implement the law on March 11. So basically, the government of India has come up with Citizenship Amendment Act way back in 2019. It's been 5 years now, and now, I mean, like, although this act has been passed by the parliament, right, but it has not been notified by the government, means it did not come into effect, right? But now, after the notification by the Ministry of Home Affairs, now it is implemented by the government. What do we mean by Citizenship Amendment Act? Basically, Citizenship Amendment Act allows people, right, those people who are persecuted, who are minorities, who are living in difficulties in 3 countries, like for example Pakistan, Afghanistan and Bangladesh. So the minority people who are persecuted in these countries, they can come to India, right, visa free travel. I mean, like, they can come to India without passport, right, and after they come to India, they can get what? They can get citizenship, they can apply for citizenship in India. But can anyone come from these 3 countries and get the citizenship? No. Which people can come? So here basically they have mentioned few religious communities like Hindus, Parsis, Jains, Christians, Buddhists. Basically they have mentioned these 5 communities, they have not mentioned Muslims. Okay, so Muslims are not allowed under this particular act. Okay, so this is one thing, Citizenship Amendment Act, right, under which, like, people who are minorities in these 3 countries, Afghanistan, Pakistan and Bangladesh, they can enter into India without passport, and later on they can apply for citizenship, and government will provide citizenship to them in an expeditious manner. Okay, this is the thing. However, this particular Citizenship Amendment Act had met with lot of criticism. Why? Because India is a secular country, right? India is a secular country. And when we talk about Article 14 of the Constitution of India, Article 14 of the Constitution of India talks about right to equality, or equality before the law and equal protection of the law. It means all the citizens in India are treated equally by law, by the Constitution, by the country's rules. Okay, but the thing is, the Citizenship Amendment Act makes religion as a qualifier. It makes what? Religion as a qualifier, and by making religion as a qualifier, it actually, let's say, like, it actually does not include Muslims. Like, Muslims are excluded from this law, and that's why people are criticizing this particular act, which is Citizenship Amendment Act 2019. Apart from this, there are various other provisions also in this particular act. Okay, there are various other provisions. Basically, when we talk about some states in India, there are few states in India, for example, the state of Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram and Tripura. So in these states, basically, like, the government has created something which is known as inner line permit. If people want to go to certain areas in these states, they need inner line permit. Okay, so for inner line permit, basically like this Citizenship Act, let's say, excludes like those people from visiting these areas. Apart from this, to enact this particular act, what the government has done, they have actually exempted these people under Passport Entry into India Act 1920, Foreigners Act 1946, right? And these people, like these religious minorities from these three countries, they will be eligible for citizenship under 1955 Act. However, there is another thing which is known as National Register for Indian Citizens. Basically, the central government was proposing the idea of like National Register for Indian Citizenship, NRIC. Okay, NRIC. What is NRIC? Basically, under this, the government of India will be conducting a census type exercise, right? They will be conducting census type exercise. They will be gathering information of the citizens, right, from across the country. After gathering, let's say, those information, then basically those people who are not staying in India with legal documents, who are not legal residents of India, they can be expelled out of India, right? And so basically there is one state in India which is northeast state, Assam. So in Assam, in fact, an NRC exercise has been conducted. Okay, in the state of Assam, an NRC exercise has been conducted, and some people have been categorized as, let's say, some people has been categorized as non-Indian citizens. Basically, there are categories of doubtful voters and all. So those people who have been categorized as doubtful voters, many people have been put into, right, detention camps, right? They have been put into detention camps, and from those camps, basically, like, they are not able to live their life freely as other citizens are doing. So there are many political connotations associated with this, and in this article, basically, they talk about that how this particular act, right, Citizenship Amendment Act, can affect the secularism in the country. And so basically, like, people may be moving to the Supreme Court of India related to this act, and we need to see what the Supreme Court of India does about it. Okay, so with this, now let us move to another article. Okay, quickly we will discuss this article. It is again a short article. It says, in issuing AI advisory, MeitY becomes a DT. Okay, here issuing AI advisory. AI means artificial intelligence, and what is MeitY? MeitY is Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. This is a ministry, right, that looks into the electronics part and information technology part in the country, right? So in this article, basically the author is saying that MeitY once in a let's say once it used to be DT, Department of Electronics and Information Technology. Earlier MeitY was DT, and at that point of time, what happens, right? Department of Electronics, when it was Department of Electronics and Information Technology, that time also it has issued multiple guidelines, right? Multiple guidelines, and like, you know, those guidelines were ambiguous. Many a times those guidelines were ambiguous, and those guidelines, let's say, like, you know, the DT or Department of Electronics and Information Technology did not have jurisdiction on those issues on which it has released guidelines, and those guidelines were not scientific, and at the same time those guidelines did not clearly delineate that, like, if someone does not follow these guidelines, what will be the penalty. So basically in this article, the author is saying that, like, you know, in issuing guidelines, what MeitY is doing, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, it becomes DT, that it used to be long back. Okay, earlier there was Department of Electronics and Information Technology, now it has become MeitY. So here the author is criticizing about Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. Author says that it does, let's say, like, you know, it lacks definition under the principal legislation empowering MeitY and the Information Technology Act of 2000. Okay, so finally the author says that there has been a policy flip-flop on an illegal MeitY advisory on artificial intelligence, but it refuses to admit its mistake. Okay, so what advisory did it issue related to artificial intelligence? Basically, all of us know about generative artificial intelligence, or generative AI. What is generative AI? Generative AI is an AI system where you can basically give some command. You can simply write a question over there and it's going to give you answer in word format. It's going to write answer for you. It's going to generate answer for you, and that answer is tailor made. So there are multiple generative artificial intelligence tools that includes let's say ChatGPT of OpenAI, and it includes, let's say, various other tools from various technological companies. Like Google also has its generative AI system. So in this article they have said that there was a user long back, and that user has asked a question on let's say Google's generative AI, and that question was, is Modi a fascist? Okay. And so that answer was generated by Google's AI, and that person has posted it on Google, on Twitter. But later on, let's say the MeitY, or Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, it has issued advisory related to, let's say, regulation of generative AI. Okay, this has sparked, let's say, criticism from people who are experts in artificial intelligence, and even those like owners of the company who own these, generative AI systems. So basically in this article, the author is criticizing the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology for its unscientific guidelines from time to time, guidelines which are not properly documented, which are not well thought of, and guidelines where even MeitY does not have jurisdiction. Okay, this is what the author is saying through this article. All right, so this is the thing. This is just a commentary, I would say, on MeitY. Okay. So with this, let us now quickly move to this article. It says Bhutan's opening move, it's Gallipo Gambit. Okay. So as we know, Bhutan is a neighboring country of India. Okay. Let me draw the map of Bhutan quickly. Okay. So okay, let me quickly make the map of Bhutan. Okay, so we are just looking at the map of Bhutan. So this is, let's say, northern portion of India, and over here we have a country. This is the country. Okay, this country is known as Bhutan. All right. So Bhutan shares its borders, right? Bhutan shares its border with northeastern states, various northeastern states. So it does share its border with Assam, the state of Assam. Okay. So there is a city, let's say, that touches the border, city of Bhutan that touches the border of Assam, and this city is known as Gallipo. Okay. What? Gallipo. So in this article they have mentioned about this particular city. So why Gallipo is important? Basically Bhutan's king, right? Bhutan's king has earlier visited the state of Assam. He has visited Delhi also to meet with the Prime Minister, and he has already met with the Chief Minister of the state of Assam. And they have decided, Bhutan's king and their Prime Minister, they have together decided to make this city a world level city. So they wanted to make this city let's say Gallipo mindfulness city. And what will be the significance of Gallipo mindfulness city? Number one, this city will be carbon neutral. What do we mean by carbon neutral? It means it will not emit, let's say, excess greenhouse gases. It's not going to pollute the environment. Whatever greenhouse gases it is going to emit, it's going to consume also that much. It's going to, let's say, sequester. It's going to, let's say, utilize that thing as well. So there will be net zero carbon emission from this city. Apart from this, they want to promote this city for many things. They want to promote this city for information technology, education, hotel and hospital sectors, right? So they want to, let's say, they want to have investment from across the world, from India also, so that people can establish industries over there. And they want to establish those industries that are non-polluting in nature. They want to, let's say, establish industries that are non-polluting in nature. So here what we need to understand is that this particular planned city is similar to any other world city that has been planned. there, let's say Saudi Arabia has planned a city which is known as Neom, and Indonesia has planned a city which is known as Nusantara. Okay, so these cities are considered to be financial hubs, but these cities will be different from other world cities like Dubai. Dubai world city, I mean, like they have long skyscrapers. Skyscrapers means tall buildings with glass ceilings, like Dubai, Hong Kong and Singapore. So the thing is, the Gallipo mindfulness city will be different from Dubai, Hong Kong and Singapore. They will be similar to Saudi Arabia's Neom or Indonesia's Nusantara city. Okay, and basically how it is going to help Bhutan, it's going to help Bhutan in, let's say, like getting lot of investment from outside, and Gallipo can become a world city. It will make Bhutan a popular country. Okay, so recently what has happened, Bhutan's Prime Minister, right, Sering Tokbe has is going to visit, let's say, Delhi this week to talk with the government, right, in India, to talk with Indian government related to this particular city. And here we need to understand that Gallipo also faces various challenges related to it. Right? What are the challenges? These challenges are similar to the challenges that exist in case of the international north-south transport corridor that passes through Iran, Russia via Chabahar to Central Asia. It faces Western sanctions. And if we talk about IMEC, right? IMEC means India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor, right? So here United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia, and it passes through United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia and Greece. And there is I2U2 initiative also. What is I2U2? I2U2 is an international grouping. It stands for Israel, India, United Arab Emirates, US. Okay, they are challenged by Israel's bombardment in the city of Gaza and Houthi attacks on Red Sea. So a lot of, let's say, like internationally there are a lot of problems that like various development projects are facing. Similarly, the Gallipo, okay, this Gallipo mindfulness city, it's also going to face a lot of challenges. In this article, the author is talking about those challenges that Gallipo may face. Okay, so finally the author is saying, someone has joined, Mr. Arav, good evening. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. You have won international, gold medal in international taekwondo match. That's great. Good to know that. Okay. So taekwondo is a martial art. I know about it because I have myself done karate long back when I was in school, right? I understand this. So it says, the mega project is a huge gambit for Bhutan, but can be a game changer for the region with the help from India. So the thing is, like, it's a huge gamble. I mean, like, Bhutan is going to invest a huge amount of money. It's going to be 1,000 square kilometers project. And if they get help from India, it's going to be a game changer for Bhutan, because Bhutan will be recognized internationally because of this particular city. Okay, this is the thing. So with this, now let us move to another topic. All right. So this topic says, has poverty really dropped to 5% in India? Right. This article is related to Indian economy. Okay. This article is related to Indian economy. We need to understand about this article. Recently, the chairperson of Niti Aayog, or maybe one of the member from Niti Aayog, like, that person has notified, that person has told that the below poverty line population in India has, let's say, come below 5%. So less than 5% of Indian population lives in below poverty line. And in this article, basically they are analyzing whether it has actually happened or not. And to analyze, the Hindu has interviewed two prominent persons. One person has been a former member of Prime Minister's Economic Advisory Council, and there is a development economist. Okay, so these two people have been interviewed, and based on this interview, they have answered multiple questions. Number one, what is the way how we calculate the poverty line, how we determine the poverty line? So in this article, they have said that we determine poverty line using a method, right, which is known as Tendulkar formula. Okay, so there was the government of India has long back created a Tendulkar committee. Okay, so that Tendulkar committee has given a poverty line estimation, and that has said that if a person is living in urban areas, and if that person spends, let's say, like, more than 35 rupees a day, so that person is in above poverty line. If that person spends less than 35 rupees a day, he is below poverty line. Similarly, for rural areas, it was around 28 rupees. Okay, that was the thing. So apart from this, the World Bank also has similar data. So as of now, the poverty line is calculated based on Tendulkar Committee recommendation. But the question is, it is not officially recognized in India. It is not official figure. It is like there is no official, let's say, demarcation. Here, the author says that officially there is no declared income poverty line right now. And here, what the person from Niti Aayog has said, it is based on what Tendulkar Committee has said, and it is based on a kind of survey which is known as Household Consumption Expenditure Survey. So recently the data was released related to household consumption expenditure survey, and this survey says that less than 5% of Indian population is in below poverty line. However, the interview of these two people, let's say, points out to, let's say, a different fact or different figure altogether. They say that recently one of the agency of the United Nations, it has come out with a report, and that report has been compiled by 12 different, let's say, bodies under United Nations, and they have said around 74 to 75% of Indian population, around 3/4 of Indian population, right, cannot afford to have a healthy diet for themselves, right? They cannot have a healthy diet for themselves. So this raises the question that we have huge number of Indian population who are living in below poverty line, and at the same time recently the Prime Minister of India has announced a let's say program which is Annadata Aay Yojana, some kind of, let's say, grain initiative, free food grain initiative. Pradhan Mantri some scheme, Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana. Sorry, this is Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana. Under that Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana, what has happened? The Prime Minister has said that we are going to provide benefits to 80 crore Indian people. Means 80 crore Indian people are going to get free rations, right, every month from the government. And those beneficiaries are essentially, they are garib. They are, let's say, poor people. So, the figures are contradictory. Figures related to poverty are contradictory in nature. The figures that are coming from government reports, they are also being questioned because the data is not very much credible according to the critics. And at the same time, from the government side, they also criticize the data that are coming from the private sector. So in the private sector, there is an agency which is known as CMIE, Center for Monitoring Indian Economy. So this has also come up with a report, and in that report they show that female labor force participation rate in India is lower than that of Yemen and Iraq. This implies that only 9% of Indian women are working in India. Okay, so here they are questioning, counter questioning, contradicting related to poverty level data. Officially, government does not have a official declared poverty line. There was a Tendulkar Committee report that suggested a poverty line, and based on this, recently Niti Aayog chairperson has come up with a kind of declaration that less than 5% Indian people are living in below poverty line. However, other reports showcases contradictory pictures. There was a report from the United Nations, right? So United Nations report said that 74% of Indian population cannot afford minimum nutritious diet prescribed by Food and Agriculture Organization. So these are the things that we need to understand over here, right? So this article is good. So Mr. Arav has written another thing. Sir, which belt I have? Black belt. Oh, that's good. You have black belt in Taekwondo. That's great. Good to know about that. Brown belt, third step. Okay, that was brown belt, third step. So just before black belt. Now let me talk about this. It says, what are the causes of flare up in Eastern Congo? Okay, what are the causes of flare up in Eastern Congo? So we know Democratic Republic of Congo is a country in Africa, right? African continent. So in Africa, in Congo, a kind of fight is happening, right? Fight is happening between the military of Congo, right, military, and there is a rebel group, and this rebel group is M23 rebels, and these M23 rebels, they are being backed by Rwanda. Okay, Rwanda is another country, right? Congo is another country. Rwanda is a separate country. So these rebels are supported by Rwanda, and this has raised tensions and let's say conflict. And this conflict is increasing the humanitarian issues, right? And many countries in the world, they're raising their voice against this rebel group. They are saying that United Nations and several Western countries denounced the attacks and urged the M22 rebels to halt their offensive. Okay, so they are going forward with offensive, so that's why other countries are saying that this offensive must be halted. Okay, it's a kind of international news. We just need to know about it. In your free time, what you need to do, download the map of Africa. There locate where is Congo located, Democratic Republic of Congo. Locate where is Rwanda located, and read this newspaper article to understand little more on this. Okay, so that will be all let's say from my side on this topic, and soon we are going to have a class which is known as PT 100 topics class. This will be dedicated for the prelims exam, and science and technology section is going to start from 18th of March 2024. Anyone interested in reading science and technology, learning science and technology, they can attend this class, right? First 2 lectures will be open, so you can attend them on YouTube also. So that will be all from my side for the day. Thank you so much everyone for attending today's session. I hope you have a good day ahead. Thank you.